In 2014, Martin Shkreli was known as the most greedy and evil individual on r/Wallstreetbets. He single-handedly made a fortune by breaking countless laws and taking advantage of incredibly ill people who needed their medications to survive. Not only did he go to jail for his actions and face fines of nearly $70 million, but he became one of the most notable individuals on Wallstreetbets, adored by few and hated by many. From manipulating drug prices to trolling his critics, this is the story of a pharmaceutical mastermind whose intense need to make a fortune led him to become the most hated man in America for a short period, and how he achieved this is absolutely insane. But there's more to Martin Shkreli than meets the eye, making some people believe that maybe he isn't the supervillain that the media made him out to be. In 2006, Shkreli founded his first hedge fund, Elia Capital Management. Although this was no ordinary hedge fund, much like users on r/Wallstreetbets, Shkreli's positions were high risk, high reward, and in 2007, he got burned badly. After taking a huge bear position betting against the market and shorting various stocks with high leverage, Shkreli was unable to cover his losses. The final blow came shortly after, when Lehman Brothers, the bank on the other end of the trades, filed and won a $2.5 million lawsuit against Elia. Though Lehman Brothers themselves would collapse during the financial crisis before they could collect the settlement, Elia Capital could not be saved. After Elia Capital's collapse, Shkreli was more determined than ever to prove himself, no matter the cost. So less than 2 years later, he would do just that. With his friend Marek Bastek, they co-founded another hedge fund named MSMB Capital. Of course, Shkreli was unable to make a safe bet, so MSMB's main strategy was to aggressively short-sell risky biotech stocks. However, this time they had a new idea, one which would be foolproof. Once they found a biotech stock to short, they would begin to barrage the stocks with negative online posts on sites like Seeking Alpha. Using his deep knowledge of the pharmaceutical industry, Shkreli used fear tactics to convince current investors to offload their shares and discourage potential buyers from investing in his targeted stocks. It was brilliant. By using this strategy, Shkreli was able to suffocate small biotech companies, and he sucked up their market cap while doing so. Even though he played a massive role in destroying these companies, he was making absolute bank. Because of this, he felt like he was truly invincible, and at this point he was starting to make riskier plays. However, this would all change when he began his usual public bash campaign against a biotech company called Orexogen Therapeutics. This company failed to get its weight loss drug approved, so in a single day the stock tanked from $9 a share all the way down to $2.50 a share. Shkreli, being the trader he is, thought that the company was going to go bankrupt, so he did what any degenerate would do. He decided to begin naked short selling the stock in hopes that he would make a killing. However, after he shortened it through MSMB Capital, the stock rebounded before they were able to close their positions. This sudden turnaround led to catastrophic losses, effectively wiping out the hedge fund entirely. This left them now owing Merrill Lynch around $7 million. Instead of coming clean to MSMB's investors, Shkreli decided to lie about how well the fund was doing, and he used his new company, Retrofin, to attempt to cover any debts. Of course, this is all very illegal, and the feds were beginning to sniff out what was going on, but we'll revisit this later. The fraud was all happening behind the scenes, and the public saw Shkreli as a young genius in the pharmaceutical industry. He even got a place in the Forbes 30 Under 30 finance list in 2013, but everything would soon change about a year later. See, Shkreli's new company, Retrofin, specialized in acquiring the rights to older, niche drugs with expired patents. After doing this, he could bypass the expensive and time-consuming costs that came with the typical research and development process. For example, Retrofin acquired the rights to Thiola, a medication essential for treating a rare kidney condition known as cystinuria. Knowing that patients had no choice but to rely on the drug as there was no better alternatives for it, Shkreli raised the price from $1.50 per pill all the way up to $30 per pill, a 20x markup, exploiting the desperation of those who needed it. This quickly became a popular story, and among the chaos, a thread on Reddit's r/news would be posted by a user named DeBlow, and some people in the comments felt hopeless with the price increase. I myself actually have cystinuria, the disease this medication helps with, I take 9 of these a day, along with 2 other medications amounting to about 20 pills a day. I did the math. If I didn't have insurance, this equates to $98,550 a year for this medication for my dosage. If I don't take this medication, I would literally die. This, along with many other comments from users who had the disease, made Reddit furious with Martin, as they despised him. There's a special place in hell for people who extort the ill. Martin Shkreli is the CEO, smart dude, but a scumbag. I've read about him on numerous occasions. I wish 4chan would take assholes like this down. Pharma isn't in business to find cures, it's in business to make profit. The negative comments were flooding in like crazy, so someone sent the thread to Martin and he decided to make a Reddit account to defend himself. This would be his first comment on the site. We are spending millions of dollars on cystinuria research, patient advocacy and patient identification so we can diagnose people with this awful disease faster and keep them from getting a kidney stone. Most people say passing a kidney stone is one of the most painful things you can experience. We are the first company ever to give a crap about cystinuria. Raising the price is the only way we can afford to give said crap. It was one of the smallest revenue-generating drugs in the world prior to our price increase, and will still buy a very, very small drug after our price increase. This is not Viagra. He actually replied to over 250 comments, but a lot of his messages were overtaken by the sheer hatred users in the thread had for him, so he decided to begin fighting back and even started trolling. You're not voting Republican this year, eh? You certainly like to pretend you know a lot about this situation. Go away now. I agree to terminate further conversation with you. Bye. But this seemed to awaken something within Shkreli. Even though he was fighting for his public image, it seemed that he enjoyed the attention and was hungry to make his mark on the world. But Retrofin's board of directors didn't like Shkreli's aggressive strategies and questionable decisions, so in 2014 they voted to remove him as the CEO. And just like that, Shkreli was back to square one once again. But this time, many people all around the world absolutely hated him. However, he wouldn't go down that easily, and he promised that he would come back bigger and stronger with an idea that would make him filthy rich. With his newfound fame, Shkreli began posting more on Reddit. No, not r/stocks or r/investing. He went straight to where he belongs, r/Wallstreetbets. There he would post his various pieces of due diligence, where users could mirror his trades and make tons of money alongside him. His crazy plays would be legendary on Wallstreetbets, and when users needed to make a quick buck, they would listen to their new oracle, Martin Shkreli. He would soon get the nickname Pharma Bro, as all of his plays included shorting shitty pharma stocks to oblivion. They didn't care that he was profiting off people who were incredibly ill, or that his short selling was destroying biotech companies that were trying to help cure rare diseases in the world. All they cared about was making tons of money, and that's exactly what Pharma Bro did for them. Because of his sheer degeneracy and wild success on the subreddit, he was promoted to a moderator on Wallstreetbets and was even given a flair. Shkreli was so deep in the memes and the glamour that he even tried to ban the term YOLO, which was one of the most iconic phrases on Wallstreetbets at the time. Love or hate him, Martin was truly in a league of his own. Around the same time, Shkreli became obsessed with the Wallstreetbets. He founded Turing Pharmaceuticals, which was another biotech company. He kept the same controversial strategy of acquiring the rights to old niche drugs and suddenly increasing the pricing on them for all the people who needed them to survive. But this time, he would take things to a whole new level. Turing Pharmaceuticals bought the rights to Daraprim for $55 million, which was a niche drug used to treat toxoplasmosis, which was mostly used by HIV-positive patients. Shkreli increased the price from $13.50 per pill to an absolutely insane price of $750 per pill. That increase is over 5,400%, which literally happened overnight. This time, Martin Shkreli would make more than just the front page of Reddit. He would make national news, and the media was in an absolute frenzy.
You know, Martin, when you bought the company, this was a $1 pill before Core Labs bought it, then it went to $13.50, now you bought it, now it goes to over $700. Would you have bought, when you bought this company, did you buy it because you knew that you could raise the price?
We definitely planned on raising the price, that's for sure. We paid a very, very large amount to buy an unprofitable medicine. We can't continue to lose money on the drug at that price. So we took it to a price where we can make a comfortable profit, but not any kind of ridiculous profit. They're much larger.
I assume you are a free markets gentleman, are you not?
Sure.
Okay,
Whatever that
so
means.
why do you think the drug was priced at $13.50 before? Somebody thought that was the right price for this drug.
Markets
the
aren't that
market said
rational.
13.5 worked.
Shkreli even became a massive issue talked about during the 2016 presidential debates.
Where this young guy raised the price to a level that's absolutely ridiculous, and he looks like a spoiled brat to me. You want to know the truth? He looks like a spoiled brat.
There's no excuse. Look, we want companies to get a fair return. That's the way our system works. There's no excuse from going from $13.50 to $750 for one pill.
Seemingly overnight, Shkreli became the poster child of the wickedness of capitalism and corporate greed. But Shkreli wouldn't go down without a fight and was attempting to defend himself.
This particular drug is used by a small but vulnerable group of patients. So you see how greedy this move looks.
Yeah, I could see how it looks greedy, but I think there's a lot of altruistic properties to it.
Altruistic?
Absolutely.
In what way?
Yeah, so one example is that this is a disease where there hasn't been one pharmaceutical company focused on it for 70 years. We are now a company that is dedicated to the treatment and cure of toxoplasmosis. And with these new profits, we can spend all of that upside on these patients who sorely need a new drug, in my opinion.
Even though he said this, some experts still didn't agree.
Patients shouldn't be taxed and charged for future research and development. Patients should pay for the drug they are getting and what they need in a situation that they are.
Oncologist Dr. David Agus is a CBS News medical contributor.
It's predatory practice, and it's inappropriate, and we have to take a stand.
A lot of people were conflicted. Was Shkreli actually doing the right thing, or was he just being unnecessarily greedy? One thing is certain though, Wallstreetbets still loved him, and he even made a subtle nod to the subreddit with his Pepe the Frog pin on live TV. Throughout all the bad press that he had gotten, Shkreli now had a cult following, and his fortune was growing at a rapid pace. He also would begin live streaming, which gave his viewers a place where they could watch him give investment advice, troll CNBC hosts, and even play countless hours of League of Legends. He even brought the singular copy of the Wu-Tang Clan's album Once Upon a Time in Shaolin for $2 million. The Wu-Tang Clan members ended up publicly hating on Shkreli, but of course he didn't care one bit, and even teased the idea of never releasing the album or destroying it altogether. Shkreli was rich and famous and was literally living the rockstar dream, at least for now. On December 17, 2015, the FBI raided Shkreli's residence and took him into custody for multiple counts of securities fraud. They had been slowly collecting information on him since his involvement in the fraudulent mess that was MSNB Capital. As a joke to the world, the FBI would later tweet this: #breaking, no seizure warrant at the arrest of Martin Shkreli today, which means we didn't seize the Wu-Tang Clan album. About 1 day later, he was released for paying $1 million bail and went back to his usual streaming and living like a rock star. He even shared one of the many unreleased songs from the album just because he could.
Welcome. Time to shoot back down to the 36 chambers. The 36 chambers of death. Home of Wu-Tang Clan.
Shkreli kept leaning into his role as the villain, mocking critics while still occasionally trying again to explain and justify his actions. The backlash got so immense that Shkreli was subpoenaed to appear before Congress to explain his actions. However, when people tuned in to watch across the globe, he refused to answer most of the questions asked.
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
Do you think you've done anything wrong?
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
He was doing this so much that the prosecutor began to get angry and even brought up his Wu-Tang album, which became a big meme at the time.
So this is a great opportunity if you want to educate the members of Congress about drug pricing or what you called the fictitious case against you, or we can even talk about the purchase of is it Wu-Tang Clan? Is that the name of the album? Name of the group?
Throughout the trial, he kept refusing to speak and did his best to troll everyone involved in the case against him.
I truly believe. Are you listening?
Well, he did answer one question.
Is it pronounced Shkreli?
Yes, sir.
See, there you can answer some questions. That one didn't incriminate you.
The trial became a media sensation. Despite claiming to be innocent, Martin was a master troll, and at one point he even posted on Facebook offering $5,000 for a strand of Hillary Clinton's hair. However, the judge absolutely hated that and revoked his bail altogether. Shkreli was then sent to jail to await his sentence, and all access to social media was cut off. Here, Shkreli began to understand the terrible situation he was in, and on August 4th, 2017, he would await the verdict of the case.
Let's check in with Meg Terrell, who's standing by at the U.S. courthouse in Brooklyn, where we are awaiting the sentencing of Martin Shkreli. Meg.
Hey, Melissa. Well, we are waiting for the judge to deliver her sentence right now. She is going through what the guidelines say he could get. Recall that the government has asked for a sentence of no shorter than 15 years, whereas Shkreli's defense team has asked for 12 to 18 months. Now, as we were waiting for the judge, Shkreli did address her. It's the first time he's really spoken during this whole process. He broke down in tears while he addressed the judge, saying that he made mistakes. Nobody put him in this position except himself. And he asked her for the chance to do it again when he said that he would do it right. His voice breaking many times, the judge actually giving him a box of tissues as he delivered that plea to her. Now she is going through what the guidelines say he could be sentenced of, and is running through some letters of support, letters from his family members. So we are waiting for her to issue this sentence really any minute now here, guys, at the Brooklyn courthouse.
Shkreli soon realized he could spend a massive chunk of his life behind bars. So there would be no more trolling. Now he was dead serious and recognized that his actions could have heavy consequences. Because Martin misled investors about the health of MSMB Capital and illegally used funds from his other company, Retrofin, to repay them, he was convicted on 2 counts of securities fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit securities fraud. At this point, Martin's fate was sealed, and he was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison and was forced to forfeit nearly $7.5 million worth of assets, including several legendary items he personally purchased for himself, from a Pablo Picasso painting to his exclusive Wu-Tang Clan album, and even Lil Wayne's unreleased album, The Carter 5. Even though it was a terrible day for Martin, some of the tweets and comments were too good to pass up. Originally, he was going to serve 51 days, but they raised it 5,000%. He wasn't sentenced for fraud, he was sentenced for disrespecting the Wu-Tang Clan. After, Shkreli's lawyer had a quick few words on his way out of the courtroom.
When the guidelines are 25 years and the government is demanding 15 years, one would think that a 7-year sentence is good, but I'm disappointed. I thought the sentence should have been less than 7 years, but, you know, Martin's fine and he will be fine, and it could have been a lot worse.
After his sentencing, Martin was getting used to his life in prison, and he was able to get a contraband phone, which he used to run his company from the shadows. I'm the first person banned from Twitter, sent to jail, and then still given pretty decent internet access behind bars. He was so confident that he was planning on leaving prison richer than he entered. But of course, he got caught and was temporarily thrown into solitary confinement. This wouldn't stop him though, as he would still make the occasional post on r/Wallstreetbets and even wrote back letters to some of his fans. But honestly, the most mind-blowing thing that happened is that he got engaged to a reporter named Christine Smith while he was locked up. He convinced her to leave her job and husband just so she could wait for him to get out of prison. How he did it, the world may never know. But Martin was still loved by r/Wallstreetbets even after his sentencing. Users would rally behind him. This will only make him stronger. Did someone say Nelson Mandela? There were jokes about him escaping prison and going under disguise, to memes that Martin's imprisonment will lead to a sharp increase in the proficiency of convicts, to even another user making t-shirts and hoodies in his honor. During this period, Shkreli was truly a legend on Wallstreetbets. Although time had moved by slowly for Martin, and there was only so much he could do from prison, users like Roaring Kitty would soon become the new face of Wallstreetbets, and the world would also receive some new villains as well. So Martin would slowly fade into obscurity. As of May 2022, Martin Shkreli was finally released from federal prison after serving 4 out of the 7 years of his sentence. His release was early and came as a result of his completion of various prison programs and consistent good behavior. The moment he got out, Shkreli opened an AMA on r/Wallstreetbets, where users welcomed him back. Do you still have that yee-yee ass haircut? I see this man out of prison on Reddit from his own account before I hear about it on the news. Insane. Martin Shkreli has returned to WSB. Recession's cancelled, boys. Shkreli was back, and now stronger than ever, even spending a good chunk of his prison sentence studying so that he could get back into things quickly. Martin ended up creating a software platform aimed at democratizing drug discovery, and he even launched a crypto shitcoin, Martin Shkreli Inu. Although he doesn't go on r/Wallstreetbets that much anymore, he still spends his free time live streaming his stock analysis, coding, and of course, playing League of Legends.